Well, welcome back. We have heard an awful lot about the war on women. It's a constant Democratic talking point. Remember when Democrats spent months talking about it?
It's going to intensify.
The other Republicans, as I understand it, who are running, represent that right wing that's declared war on women's health.
They've launched a series of attacks on women, their access to health care, even contraception.
Their desperate fear about what is happening with this war on women that they started. There is a war on women.
All right, well, some are now saying that Democrats are actually the ones waging a war on women. Democrats like Anthony Weiner, Eliot Spitzer, and Bob Filner. And now that it's one of their own, our next guest says its Democratic Party leaders are strangely silent.
Joining us now, Washington Times senior editor, our old pal, Emily Miller. Emily, welcome. Now,
Thanks, Tucker.
Bob Filner is literally, apparently, the former member of Congress, Democrat, now the mayor of San Diego. According to, what is it now, 8 of his reputed victims, was literally like grabbing women. So if that's not a war on women, what is?
Right, that is sexual assault, actually, what he was doing. I mean, now we've got these poor women who've worked for him all these years, or at least this year that he's been mayor, at least that we know of, have come out suddenly because they're no longer scared, because one of them did, and they said, he's grabbing me on the rear end, he's putting his hand down my shirt, he's slobbering on me. I mean, this is sexual assault. And, I mean, this is not, what the Democrats launched this war on women, it was because Rush Limbaugh, talk show host, as you know, radio talk show host, the great Rush Limbaugh, said Sandra Fluke is a slut because she wants us the taxpayer, to pay for birth control. So they use that to blame the party, which is not, the elected officials, with waging a war on women, but it has nothing to do with that. Bob Filner this man is disgusting, and what he's doing is illegal, and you don't hear anyone talking about it. You don't hear President Obama, you don't hear any of the party leaders saying this man has got to go.
And of course, Democrats can chalk it up to Bob Filner's having some sort of issue, or he's losing his marbles. And in that case, it's just, one oddball guy who should probably not be in office anymore. But they don't lump it into the war on women category. What do you think that party leaders like Harry Reid or Debbie Wasserman Schultz or Nancy Pelosi should be saying?
They should say, Senator Bob Filner, we disavow ourselves from him. He has to leave office. We do not want him in our party. That's what the President of the United States, when asked, or even, the President doesn't even have to talk about this, but when the spokesmen of the White House are asked about these cases, they should say the President of the United States does not want people like that who sexually assault women in office. It's the same thing with Anthony Weiner. It's the same thing with Eliot Spitzer. These people should not be in public life. I think Bob Filner should probably be in jail for what he's doing. And Bob, Weiner, I don't know what you do with that. I mean, he's just a pervert and can't change. But he definitely shouldn't be mayor of New York.
Well, it's nice to hear someone use the word pervert non-ironically. Good for you. It applies in his case. So very quickly, it works, though. I mean, that's why this talking point exists, because it scares female voters into voting Democrat, no?
Well, it worked last year. It worked last year because people were confused, and they confused it with policy versus what a few Republicans said. But this year is different, and the biggest issue for women's health that they like to talk about this year is abortion, and abortion when a baby can feel the pain of the abortion, which is 20 weeks. That bill passed the House already, and it's facing the Senate. And between 60 and 70% of women favor this. So, they think they've got a war on women, but in fact, the women are on the different side when it comes to actually policy and the important things.
Emily Miller, you are with the Washington Times. Thanks so much for sharing your perspective on this.
Thanks for having me.